So today we're going to be looking at parent functions, and then we're going to see how to transform them and how that changes the equation as well. So once again, today we are looking at function transformations. Okay, so let's jump right in with our 5 parent functions that we are going to be working with. So when we say a parent function, what we're looking at is we are looking at basic, just different types. And this is kind of what we learned at the very beginning of the year. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to have 5 different ones. So we're going to make 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to see what happens to the equation as we move them. So our first one here is our most basic, and it is a line that has a slope of 1 and goes through the origin. And so this is a linear equation, and our formula that we're going to start with every time we see a line is y is equal to x. Okay. Next, we're going to have a quadratic, which is a parabola that has its vertex at 0, 0. So this is a quadratic. And our basic parent function equation is going to be y is equal to x squared. Okay. Next, we're going to have a cubic function, and it's basically starts at 0, 0 with a parabola going up, and then it flips over to that parabola going down. So this is a cubic function, and our equation is y is equal to x to the 3rd power. Okay. Next, we are going to have an absolute value equation, which looks like this. And our equation is y is equal to the absolute value of x. Okay. And our last one is going to be a square root equation. Okay, so square root, and that's y is equal to the square root of x. So these are the basics that we're starting with. Now, what we're going to do to our first one is we are going to do a vertical shift. And of course, a vertical shift is a shift that goes up or down. Now, we're going to take whatever our regular function is, which we are going to call f of x. So your f of x is, for a line, y equals x. For your cubic, it's y equals x to the 3rd. For your square root, y equals the square root of x. And then we are going to, on the outside of that, add c. Now, if you have a plus c, that is going to move it up. Okay. However, if we have an f of x minus c, and c is the number that you're moving, that is going to move your transformation is going to be down. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to transform 4 of these. So we're going to go ahead and do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and start with our parent function of our line. And once again, we started that with y is equal to x. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to move it up 4. And what that means is we're going to have a parallel line, but it's going to be 4 up. And so when we write that, then it is going to be y is equal to x plus 4, because we moved up 4. Okay, we're going to go ahead and look at our parent function for our quadratic. And we are going to move it up 2. So we're basically moving all of those up. And so we're going to have y is equal to x squared, that's our parent function, plus 2, because we moved up 2. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do our cubic. So we're going to start with our parent function, which is y equals x to the third. And we're going to go ahead and move it down 3. We're going to move it down 3. So it's going to start here and then go down here. And so that's going to be y is equal to x to the third power minus 3, because we went down 3. And then we're going to do an absolute value one, and you're kind of getting the main idea here. So our absolute value, and we're going to go ahead and move it down 5. And so our equation is going to be y is equal to the absolute value of x, close those absolute values, minus 5. And we might as well do the last one too. Do one for each one. And so let's go ahead and take this square root, our parent function, and let's go ahead and move it up 3. We'll move it up 3. Okay, and so that's going to be y is equal to the square root, and then outside of the square root, plus 3, because we moved up 3. Okay, so that's a vertical shift, either up or down. Okay, our next one is going to be a horizontal shift. Okay, and that one is moving it to the right or to the left. Okay, so this one is done inside. So I have my f, and then in my parentheses, it's going to be x plus c. And this one, although it's a plus c, we kind of think of it as the opposite. This is going to move to the left. So we think of positive as going to the right, so we just have to keep that a little bit separate in our mind. And then if it is f to the x minus c, then that is going to move to the right. Okay, and we'll go ahead and do one example for each of these. Okay, and we can combine these. We can have some of them move one way and then move both 2 to the right and 3 down. And we're going to be practicing that and learning how to do that. So here's our parent function of y is equal to x. And then we want to go ahead and move it to the left 2. And so we are going to have our function be y is equal to x, and then we're moving to the left, so that's going to be plus 2. Okay. Now let's look at our parabola. Here's our parent parabola of x squared. And then we are going to move it to the left. Let's go 1 to the left. Okay, so that's going to be y is equal to, we start our parentheses, and that's going to be x, and we're moving to the left, plus 1, and then our squared is going to go on the outside. So as opposed to this one, which was x squared plus 2, that moved it up 2, we have it inside our set of parentheses when we're moving it to the right or to the left. Okay, next we have our cubic parent function. And let's go ahead and move it to the right 3. Okay, so that's going to be y is equal to, in our parentheses, to the right is minus, y minus 3, and then our cubed, because it's a cubic function, on the outside. Okay, now we have our absolute value function. And let's go ahead and move that to the right 1. So that's going to be y is equal to, inside our absolute value, x minus 1, and then close that absolute value. So notice it's happening inside of our items here. And then let's finish up with our absolute value parent function, and let's go ahead and move it 4 to the left. And so that's going to be y is equal to the left is plus, so we are going to have the square root of x plus 4. Now notice that is all underneath the square root as opposed to outside. Okay. And our last one that we're going to work on, and then once again we can have combinations of these, is we are going to show what it looks like to reflect over the x-axis. And this is called also flipping. Okay, and our rule of how to do that is simply negative f of x. Negative f of x. So we're simply going to make it negative. And let's take a look and see what those are going to look like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have our line. Okay, and then if we flip it over, I want you to think of kind of putting like paint on both sides and then folding it together. What that's going to look like is this part's going to be reflected over here, and this part's going to be reflected down there. And so my equation is going to be y is equal to negative x. Okay, for my parabola, once again, we're wetting it and then folding it in half. That means this is going to be this way, and this is going to be this way, and it's going to be y is equal to negative x squared. Right, next we have our cubic function. And once again, as we're wetting it, that means that this is going to go this way, and this side is going to be flipping over this way, and we have y is equal to negative x to the third. For our absolute value, we're going to go ahead and flip it over. So this is going to go this way, and this one is going to be going over here. And that's y is equal to negative the absolute value of x. Now be careful that you have that negative on the outside. If it's on the inside, it would stay positive. So just be careful with that one. And then our last one here, we have our square root function. And once again, we're just putting paint on it and then folding it in on itself across that x-axis. And that's going to turn out to look like this. And that's y is equal to negative the absolute value of x. So these are 3 different transformations, and like I said, we can combine them. So we're going to tell you, go ahead and take that, move it down 1 and 3 to the right, and then go ahead and rewrite that equation. So some of it's going to be on the inside, and some of it's going to be on the outside. Some of it might be a negative as we flip up and down. So let's go ahead and practice.